Welcome everyone, this is the Chronically Offline podcast and this is a pre-recorded episode update on me and my partner in dealing with relationships, mental health, BPD, and we're just going to catch up now and see how we both are doing. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm sick at the moment, but just got promotion at work, which is stressful. Lots of more responsibilities, and things are changing for the better. And yeah, I think we're on the up and up, and
Yeah,
everything's all good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I've just been dealing with a lot of assignments, guys. If you know me on like my Discord and stuff, sometimes I can be quite sporadic. I can talk a lot and then not a lot. Um, so because adult education is not fun, um, that's just not fun. I'm working on other stuff with podcasts. I'm also working on volunteering for a charity called Living on the Borderline, which is focused on borderline personality disorder and getting people support for things, which I think is great and we need to see more of, because if you watch my recent episode, I spoke to a therapist and he's in agreement to me that it is just not a thing that's taught in education, personality disorders at all. So I think we do need more awareness, even if it's just things like this. It's really important because I don't think, like, especially a lot of like partners don't know how to kind of deal with this kind of thing. So we're going to be answering some questions, kind of like the previous episode that we did on this together, and try and give people more of an idea again on how we deal with our like relationship dynamic and everything involving like mental health, BPD, and just even in general, because it's 2025. You know, I think even in the last like 10 years relationships have changed, not ours, but I mean as in like a social construct. I think relationships have changed a lot, especially because of like social media and things. So I have got some questions here, and I'd love to hear your questions. If you have any, put them in the comment section, and I'm sure we'll be happy to answer them.
I think dating in general is pretty cooked at the minute. Like you said, with social media and everything, it's all more hookup culture, and yeah, it's just not great across the board, especially for like younger generations.
Yeah.
And I think a lot more work needs to be done going forward. Obviously, with even though it is 2025, like you said, with personality disorders, mental health disorders, and
Yeah.
anything sort of in that sort of umbrella, there still needs to be a lot of work done in that regard in terms of bringing awareness to them.
Yeah. I agree. That's a good point. So, what's something you've learned about love since being together?
For me, I think the main thing is, well, given my last relationship, and well, I won't get into too much detail, but obviously you're aware of a lot of things that were happening towards the back end of that, and I think the main thing I've learned in this relationship is like how love is supposed to be, of like support and actually, wanting your partner and things like that.
Yeah.
Towards the back end of my last relationship, I wasn't feeling really wanted. It was very roommate situation and sunk cost fallacy and all that, and it's taken a lot of work from both of us to sort of get it into my mind that this is what an actual relationship, a loving relationship, should look like. Regardless of like the specific difficulties and things that we've had in the past.
Yeah.
In general speaking terms, we're this is how it should be.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just thinking how to answer the question myself. It's nice that someone has taken the time to be like mindful of myself and understand how I tick as well as yourself, and just keeping promises and things is important to me as well. So,
and I think that's a part of both of our growth as well. Sticking to things and working hard on these sort of general life attributes over the last sort of couple of years that we've been together, which I'm very proud of both of us for doing better with.
Me too. What's your go-to repair strategy after a disagreement?
Just talk it out, really.
Yeah.
I know it can be stressful in the moment. I know it's been stressful for you, obviously, this last week in particular. Well, for both of us, really, and obviously you've had an episode, and obviously I've been trying to sort of catch up with, obviously, my promotion and all the extra responsibilities, finding, like, the cracks that have been left for me, and, you know, dealing with all of that, and reporting all of that, and trying to plan everything, and, you know, it is a lot, and it can get a lot, but I think it's best to come to, like, a mutual understanding and talk things out, as opposed to just fighting and things like that, which we have done in the past. You know, we've not always been communicating healthily, and even to this day we still have blips where we kind of fall back into that, but at least we are in.
You're aware though after a little bit. You kind of have to pull yourself back a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting a lot take at both of us pulling back and sort of looking at the bigger picture and being like, actually, you know, we should take a step back, take a look at the bigger picture.
Is it that deep?
Is it that deep? And just talk through it, set a boundary if things are getting too heated, take a bit of time and space away, and just be like, look, you know, can I just have an hour or two to just chill out and wind down, and then we'll come back to it and talk things out.
I agree.
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, we've gotten better at it. I think all these kind of things are learning curves anyway, because a lot of stuff is picked up from childhood. As coping mechanisms anyway. They're very much like, I think, learnt behaviours, and that is part of growth within yourself to be able to handle conflict and disagreements, because I think every relationship has them. If someone says they don't, I think they're lying. I'm sorry, because no two people are going to get along with absolutely every single thing.
No, of course not. And I think one of the main things as well, especially with us, is inherently, because of my life and my childhood, I am quite avoidant, whereas you're very up in your face wanting to solve things and
very attached.
I
have an anxious attachment.
Not to say that in a negative way, but I can't really think of a different explanation for that at the minute.
No, that's pretty accurate anyway, but I am very loud about my emotions anyway and stuff. I don't have, I mean, it depends. I could have quiet BPD. We definitely were like some people, but not in relationships.
And in that regard, I'm obviously trying better to be more open and emotional with you, to like sort of match that wavelength.
Yeah, which is good. That's very helpful. I like transparency with friends, family, relationships. It's the best way to be. I'm just looking at these questions. Please bear with us, guys, with this being pre-recorded. I've got like no video editing skills, guys, as you've probably gathered. So there will be little cuts and stuff. So, what are coping tools or rituals that help you both stay grounded? So, I mean, kind of like what we covered a little bit before. It depends what it is.
Depends on the situation at hand.
Yeah, grounding yourself, obviously. A bit of reassurance can help, but the problem I have, which I'm going to bring up in therapy myself, is that I just tend to catastrophize a lot. Like everything is the worst. Like we're all going to die. I'm worthless, and it's not helpful at all to myself or my partner. And someone said something to me this morning in a meeting with Living on the Borderline that was like, you've got to parent yourself, and it's, would you say that to your younger self? And it does get you thinking a little bit like, oh no, I wouldn't want to say that to myself as a child. But it's a very hard thing to crack, removing that like self-doubt, self-hatred, and finding better coping mechanisms. It's hard. It's really contextual. It depends what it is. If it's little things, I can kind of, all right, I'll deal with this. Right, it's okay. It's not too much of a big deal. I'll say things like that, and I'm like, right, I can do with this. I can do it.
And it's hard from my perspective as well, because I'm here trying to like provide solutions and things like that, and you're turn around to me and say, oh, I didn't want it, I don't want it, and it's blah blah blah, I just want someone to listen. It's like, and then it's like, from my perspective, I'm only trying to do that and provide reassurance and solutions because I care.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not saying, oh, you should do this, this, and this, and that, because like obviously like you are doing those things. I'm just like, like I don't know. Like I want you to just kind of write it down so it's like in your mind that it's there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like, yeah, of course you're gonna call up the whoever it is that you need to call for whatever, and it's like, yeah, obviously, but it's like I want you to write it down so both you have it in writing and I know that it's like it's being done, sort of thing. So you're not just sort of sitting in a corner curled up in a ball about it. You know, you're actually doing the things that you taking accountability for the things that you need to do, because when you're having a split, even by definition having a split, it's illogical, right?
It can be.
Yeah. So even if the feelings are illogical and the reason for the split is illogical, the feelings while you're having a split aren't, and they are valid.
Yeah.
So it's important to me to be able to reassure you, even if you don't want it.
Yeah.
And say it's going to be okay, it's all okay, don't worry about it, I'm here to support you.
You know, he's done his research, this. It's all new to me, this a little bit, you know. Some of the things he's saying right now. Okay. So some stuff about, obviously with BPD, how does BPD show up in your relationship and how do you navigate it? I mean, I feel like it shows up all the time in its own little ways.
Yeah. I mean, I've already... it's basically just going back to what I've just said there, really.
It can show in a lot of ways for me. Obviously, it's going to show differently for you than it is for me, because some things obviously come through internally. Just thoughts and feelings about stuff and what my brain's trying to tell me what to do and what to think. And obviously, I've got to have that self-control to be like, put on the brakes now. That's not happening right now.
Yeah.
You need to calm down. It's, you know, it can be a lot of self-sabotaging, it can be a lot of like pushing away and testing.
100%. And on the pushing away, it's like, oh, you don't understand. It's like, I'm trying to understand. It's like, of course I'm never gonna fully understand, but when I say to you like, oh, I get it, I understand, I'm trying to like empathize with you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, of course I don't 100% get it, because I'll never have your lived experience, because I don't have BPD. But at the end of the day, I can still empathise with my own experiences.
He might do.
You know.
That's valid. Yeah, I get that.
So that's one frustrating thing for me.
I think from my perspective, it's because it's lonely.
Yeah.
It's very lonely. Where, you know, I mean, I have obviously friends on the internet and stuff, and the charity and stuff, which is pretty good, but like when it's in person, it can be quite hard when you don't have people around you with the same condition. So I would love to work on like a Yorkshire project with Living on the Borderline or something, and get some people from up north hanging out. I think that would be great.
I think that's one of the reasons why it's so frustrating to me when you're like that, because it's like I'm trying to do my best to reassure you and like provide a safe space with me that it's not as lonely, even if I don't understand.
Yeah.
But then when you're in that sort of split mentality, you're pushing me away.
Yeah.
Even though you think you're not, but you are.
Yeah.
But that's only like when you're having a split. If you're just having a bit of a stressful day, like you're fine. You've been a lot better with it, at least.
I'm trying to handle myself a little better. Not that I've gotten to the point of learning stuff in therapy yet. I haven't really got to that yet. But it's more so at the minute, like addressing things at the minute at therapy. But I am trying to be more self-aware of my actions and my feelings and stuff.
Yeah.
And also I'm on meds now, which I don't think actually on this last episode we did about it. So, which take the edge off ever so slightly. I feel a little bit. But I mean, I'm half and half thinking about opening my doors. I don't know, but they help a little bit. Got some like reflective questions. So how do you keep the relationship fun and playful even during tough times? Tough times never last. You know that meme? That dude, he's like, times never last. No? Okay. Just me, I guess. Let me
Tough time never lasts. Tough people last.
No, but there we go. You got there eventually. Yeah, it clicked.
It clicked eventually. But no, I think it's important to, even if things are stressful, if I'm with Izzy especially, you know, I know I can unmask and be myself around Izzy, so even if I'm in like a down state and, you know, I'm really depressed about something or I'm stressed out or whatever reason, I can still be my usual goofy self.
Yeah.
And that helps me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same is generally true for you. Even if we've had like an argument or a disagreement about something, you know, we still come back to each other and, you know, we're
reconciliate. Is that the word?
Yeah, reconciliation.
That's it. Yeah, I agree. I think
like it doesn't take us long to get back to that point. Like the feelings are still a little bit. There's always going to be a little bit of tension for a bit after a disagreement.
Yeah.
But it doesn't usually take us long to get back to a point where we're like still laughing and joking and we're all right with each other. I
think we find it a lot easier to like take accountability and move on from stuff better these days.
100%.
Because I'm not afraid to admit it. I can cut this out if you want, by the way. If not, I'll not. But we did couples counselling.
Yeah.
And so I think it did help in some ways. I think obviously she weren't like a specialist in like personality disorder, so it would have been a bit helpful if she was. But you know, you kind of again, like what I mentioned earlier, it's not put in education a lot of times, personality disorders, unless you go out your way to specialise in that. So, but she helped. She helped us.
And it's expensive.
And it's fucking expensive.
Private therapy is fucking expensive.
Yeah. You know, she helped us like recognise things we'd used from his childhood as like coping strategies within the relationship and stuff, and how to kind of deal with it and stuff, which was good. I think it definitely, even just talking to like a third person.
Yeah. Just to put things into perspective, like you said, like coping strategies, like unhealthy coping strategies that we'd previously used with each other, she'd helped us to sort of recognise and have like an opposite coping strategy for like certain things. So I can't really think of an example off the top of my head, but any any unhealthy coping strategies that we'd have, she'd try and give us recommendations for like an opposite and turn it into like a positive.
Yeah.
As well as help us understand like where those like coping mechanisms had come from and like how they would work in like our dynamic of a relationship.
Yeah.
As well as like obviously help us to identify when we're actioning those unhealthy coping strategies.
Yeah. So, recognising them.
And that goes back to obviously what you're talking about earlier. It's helping us both to be more self-aware when we're, you know, having a disagreement or things like that. Help us better communicate.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I really want to answer this one up here. So what's a moment from the last few months that's made you proud of each other? I know mine with you.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
I'm really proud that you've got your promotion.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me is my promotion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just proud of you in general for just trying, for just continuing to try and, you know, obviously improve your own mental health. You know, you're in therapy. You know, you're trying really hard with your counselling course.
I'm trying.
I know.
It's on top of me in the minute, guys. It's
Okay.
yeah. So
But yeah, I'm just proud of you in general.
I'm trying.
You know, you usually struggle with juggling, this much, but you're doing a lot better than you would a couple of years ago.
I mean, do you know what? That just hit me when he said a couple of years ago. I'm thinking, a couple of years ago, and we've been together nearly 2.5 years, haven't we?
Yeah.
In like December or something.
Yeah, at the end of this year it'll be 2.5 years.
Which is mad, because then we're like cogs were turning. Then I'm thinking, what does he mean to like years? It's not been right. I'm like, oh yeah, it's been right that long. Yeah. What's a belief about relationship you've outgrown?
Polyamory.
Yeah.
And that's solely based on my own experience. My experience of polyamory ended in disaster, so to speak. It wasn't what I would consider polyamory. It was an excuse for that person to slowly but surely push boundaries, break promises, and eventually replace me with another man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think with me, relationship beliefs, to an extent, now not fully, but I think it's okay with some things for a man to take charge. And to an extent when I say that, because I always try and put everything on me. You might not think that, but I do try and put everything on me.
Oh no, I do.
And
you're an absolute
I'm a very
stubborn person.
I'm very
for
independent.
lack of a better phrase, yes.
And I think
Mrs. Hyper Independent over here.
Yeah. I think it comes from a lot as well being like, I was a single parent and stuff like that for that long, and even like when I was with my child's dad, I did everything myself anyway, and it has been like that over the last couple of relationships I've had. So it's been something to kind of get used to when he is here, because we don't live together currently, but that's a question we could cover on another one. But when he is here and stuff, and even when he's not nearby, he's always doing something to try and help in a way. Let me do that for you. Even like if I've been poorly, he'll order a food shop for me. If it's just the little things like that to me that mean a lot. And I think it's okay to accept help from your male partner and female partner from time to time with stuff. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a simp. I'm sick of seeing all this narrative online. Like, I made a video about this woman that must have had this kind of dynamic with her partner, and he was holding her neck or something on this video, and I saw nothing wrong with it personally, but she was like, well, I don't want to be paraded around like a dog. And I'm like, well, it's not you that's it's happening to, is it? So what's it your business? It's not your life. If it bothers you, then block them. Yeah. I don't understand it. So.
And I feel like even now you struggle to ask for my help because you've been so ingrained with this hyper independence. Even this weekend as an example, when I offered look, if you need a food shop because you haven't got childcare this week, I'll literally take you to Aldi. I drive.
I know.
It's 3 minutes down the road.
It's not spending money, if I'm honest.
Well, I know, but you gotta.
I gotta buy food. I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
And even for little things I don't know, it were a while back, and you even feel guilty when you do ask for help because it's just a while ago you needed some money for something, and it was I'll lend you 40 quid if you buy takeaway this weekend or something. It's fine.
Yeah.
For when you get paid. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I feel really guilty, I feel really bad, I'm gonna cry about it and things like that. And it's no, I'm here to help. I have money.
I've got money.
And I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm not rich by any means, but I'm gonna help out where I can. You're my partner at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we have another question. What's something you wish people knew about being in a relationship with someone who has BPD? So that's for you to answer. Well, I mean, I could answer it, I guess, but go on.
We'll both take turns. I can go first.
Go.
I think it's... So going back to what I said before about feelings, and even though it's a logical the feelings aren't illogical to them in the moment.
Yeah.
It's basically that, you know, even if whatever's triggered the split, whatever is deemed to be the threat is, even if the threat is illogical, the feelings revolving around the threat and the split aren't. Because in their mind, it's very real and valid. And I think it's important to make that distinction. Like it's imperative. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, and it's also the reason why it's so lonely being someone with BPD.
Yeah.
Because they don't get that even though a lot of the times it's illogical, it doesn't feel illogical.
Yeah. A lot of time afterwards it does. Obviously, when you start to calm down and you ground yourself again, you're coming back to, because in a sense you lose reality a little bit, you know, and then you come back to reality, and afterwards, after a split, a lot of times we can feel quite embarrassed and stuff, and shame, and like you feel a lot of shame and stuff, and you think, oh, there's times I've been like, Izzy, I split over that were ridiculous. Like, I remember splitting the other week because I'd had like a few hours sleep, and it was over the most ridiculous thing, and after I knew it were shit.
Like, of course, it's no excuse to, you know, split on your like FP or anyone, or, you know, be a dickhead to anyone.
Yeah.
Which I think ensuring that person takes accountability is also part of part of a healing process.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. It's sort of like, you know, like I was talking about, obviously, even though it's illogical, then it's basically not real, and blah, 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 blah. Having that person take accountability is kind of like making sure that person knows that what has happened is real.
Yeah.
And that you understand that regardless of whether it's illogical or not, that they take accountability for that realness, even though it's not real, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's a lot to get round, but it's a hard thing and a complex thing to kind of understand anyway. When it comes to personality disorders, which I think a lot of your viewers that will have it will be able to relate to that.
But that's just something that I've kind of picked up.
I think from what I see from stuff on social media and the misconceptions, in my opinion, of like having BPD in a relationship or whatever is, you know, that we're all really violent, that we're abusive, manipulative, attention seeking. They're typically the things that get thrown around.
And I just want to clarify, sorry for jumping in,
okay.
that when I say it's not real, I mean that metaphorically.
No, I think we knew what you meant. You're all good.
I just want to clarify.
You're all good. So I've got this question now. I want to answer this. You don't have to if you don't want. So it's like I do with like all my guests, really. What's a toxic trait you're working on, and how does your partner call you out? So with me, I'll do this one. Again, it's like, I mean, there could be a full list, but a lot of them I am self-aware of, but I suppose it's the pushing away one when I don't realise I'm doing that. Because to me, it's not. Like, my version of pushing away is very different to his version, I think, of pushing away. And what else is, again, it's the catastrophising, I think, and just talking really, really badly about myself, because naturally it can upset your partner. I don't really fully recognise that, and I know I have talked about that on podcasts before. That is not something my brain fully can like understand, but I can empathise with that. I might not understand it, but I can empathise and be like, okay, look, his emotion is that he is upset about this. Let's do something about this. I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah, and I think, just to expand on that a little bit, I think with our most recent thing, I can't remember what it were over, but I was getting really upset because you were like, oh, I didn't ask for reassurance. I didn't ask you for that.
It were the week of Adam. had some stuff with
UC
and stuff.
And you were saying like, oh well, I didn't ask for reassurance, I didn't ask for your help or anything, and I'm sitting there like, but I'm your partner of 2.5 years. Of course I'm going to give you reassurance because I give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, what kind of fucking joke is this? And I would get really upset. And I did put that specifically. And that for me is like, I need to, that's my toxic trait, is like retaliating and getting defensive. Need to reel it in a bit because I understand obviously that's you going for a split. It's not, you're not meaning to do that.
Yeah.
So again, going back to what we've basically been talking about this entire episode is, you know, taking a step back and realizing that it's not logical and coming back to it later and setting a boundary.
It's doable if you're willing. Like, I actually spoke to the guy, I think it's Behind the Darkness, I'll tag him in this, when I had him on for the episode, because he's got NPD, and he made a very good point actually, where like these kind of relationships can work with personality disorders, but you've got to be willing to put that time and effort in, and if you're not, then it's not going to work out, really. You've got to be in some kind of treatment, you've got to be having some kind of therapy, and you've got to be able to recognise your behaviours, emotions and stuff. Basically, long story short, you've got to be really adult about it. Or else it's not going to work, guys. You know, there's times I've been with people in the past and I didn't even know I had BPD and stuff, and I look back and I think, oh, that was definitely a split. I can look back and I'm like, that was a split that I did on that person. Obviously handled it terrible. I hold my hands up. I've done some shitty behaviours and stuff and actions because of my mental health. Not that it's an excuse, but it's a reason. But it's about recognising them and changing these patterns and taking accountability. It's like one thing I've really worked on is not saying nasty things anymore.
I try not to.
I try not to. I have really improved with that though, because you know it's hurtful, and I think sometimes I have to put your feet in other people's shoes and be like, the person that you're splitting on, would you want to go through that? No, I don't think you would. So.
And it's not a competition either, because sometimes I feel guilty because I'm like, oh, my partner's going through this and she's got this disability
no, it
disorder.
It is a disability,
basically it is. And it's like, and I'm like, trying not to compare and be like, oh, she's got it worse and things like that, because it's not a competition, because I've got my own stuff going on as well, do you know what I mean? And the thing is as well, what I really hate is from people that we've interacted with in the past that do have BPD as well, they just want to wallow in their misery. They don't want to take accountability. They don't want to get better. They just want to be pieces of shit. And I pity them. I truly, truly pity them. But I'm not gonna like put up with shit like that.
No,
anymore.
rightfully so. I'd be the same though. Even
it's sad, but that's the reality of some people that have mental illnesses. It's not necessarily just BPD, but other.
Yeah, because I was about to attach to that and say, like, I'd be the same with people that don't even have BPD with a lot of it. Like, you know,
just people in general that are pieces of shit.
You've been in therapy, you've worked on yourself. You want to work towards getting a diagnosis for ADHD and stuff, you know, get you on the right meds, which I think will really help you. You know, it's just about working on yourselves, guys, and that's it really, I think. Don't have too much else to say on this like little update, but everything's good. Future plans, we're still trying to work on moving in together. Obviously it's a positive, you've had a pay rise and stuff. I'm working on stuff with a podcast. We're having slow growth. Growth is growth at the end of the day, guys.
Exactly.
I want to say
steps.
Yeah, that's it. I just want to say a big thank you to all the support that I get for this podcast and stuff. It's really greatly appreciated, and I love it. It's stressful, this podcast, but I do really enjoy it, and I love having the guests on and stuff. I do run a Discord server. If you would like to hang out sometime, please just contact me and you can be in it. As long as you're over 18, that is absolutely fine. And we'll see you for the next episode, which I do believe is I think it's on the 2nd of November, and we're going to be talking to some people that are polyamorous, I can't get the term right. So that will be an interesting one, guys. So stay tuned, and I hope you have a lovely Halloween. Stay spooky, guys.